intricate albums to date. To date, what is this, like the history of fucking dark wave soundtrack music? The fuck? Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Monica in Mono, and in this video I will be reviewing the Runner original soundtrack. So The Runner is actually a short suspense film that was written, directed, produced, and edited by cold wave electronic duo Boy Harsher. So I did watch the film in preparation for the review. Obviously this review is going to be focusing primarily on the music, but what I will say about the film was that I actually quite enjoyed it. I loved the retro 80s aesthetic that it had going on. So the film is very artsy, so if that style of film kind of deters you, then you might not like the film. But I also kind of have a feeling that people who tend to like these kinds of films will also tend to like Boy Harsher. And to me, the band has always managed to sound nostalgic, which I feel was very suitable for a horror film. In the film, the band did a really good job of using sounds like synths and drones to do good transitions and create some dynamics and help meet the tone really well. But what actually ended up happening was the film was actually a great complementary to the music as opposed to the other way around, kind of like an album music video. And the music has always been slightly suited for cinema with their drone influences while having a storytelling element in their more structured dark wave tracks. And I do feel that over time the dynamics in their music have gotten more effective, and I feel that they have reached a good combo of like repetitious elements from EBM with more mainstream song structures. And I think the band actually managed to apply all of these attributes to this project and actually resulted in one of their most detailed and intricate albums. Tower is the first track in the film, has a lot of suspenseful retro 80s synths over a dark bass. There's a climax of screaming vocals with a lot of distorted and harsh effects on them. It really recalled like some vocal effects from Crystal Castles. There was a similar processing on the drums as well, so it just added on to the overall impact. And this track overall did have really good song structure that still kept you interested while still fitting into the film very well, as it actually introduces us to the main character. Stop. The next track that plays in the film is Machina, which is essentially if Kraftwerk ever did an Italo disco song. The chorus is ever so slightly campy, and there's a very slippery metallic texture on the vocals, which creates a nice legato effect in the chorus, which is actually a nice contrast from the robotic staccato vocals in the verses. It's a great pop track that was also well incorporated into the movie. It's actually the first time that we realized that the band's music has some kind of effect on the character. Overall, throughout this movie, the music is used very well as kind of a portal that allows us to relate to the character in any way, shape, or form. And if I sound very vague when I'm talking about the plot of the film, it's because the film was very vague. So if you haven't seen this film, then please just bear with me. The next song that plays in the film that is used in a similar way to Machina was Give Me a Reason. This track has a memorable melody motif. It's minimal and cold, but also calm with this hypnotic synth accent. The synths and percussion created great dynamics on this track, and I thought the outro was pretty cool. It was kind of these attenuated chorus vocals, chorus singing synth, you know, the kind you get in your presets. Kind of, no, I'm joking. So this track was also used to give us a bit of more insight on the main character in the film. Essentially, the track was used as the lesbian mating call song of the film. Yeah, they were just like staring at each other like dead ass, just like literally eye fucking each other, like for real. It was kind of funny. I would have been so surprised to find a gay girl in that bar, I'm not gonna lie. I have a similar opinion for the track The Ride Home, which was overall very cohesive, despite the dynamics on it being a bit more subtle, but I think it made for a good change of pace in the soundtrack. And again, this is another track that was used very well in the film. The overall feel for this track is very suspenseful, very cinematic, and very minimal, with loud drums over a slow but urgent bass. There's a lot of spooky spooky ambience in the first half of the track that kind of sounds like a breathing animal, and the processing on the vocals made them sound tired and worn, which I thought was fitting to the track. Escape was actually played as a closer to the film. I loved the glitchy synths in this track and the slightly warped synths that created a nice atonal vaporwave effect. There was a nice slow groove to the track, which I actually enjoyed, and I thought the arrangement on this track was very well done. There were these cacophonous transitions that helped keep your interest in the track, and then there was also a guitar section which helped transition to the next section of the song right as it was about to start to feel monotonous. Another track that I enjoyed very much, even though it was kind of like the odd one out of this album, was Autonomy. This is a quirky track that actually played in the credits, which was kind of a relief, just because I did listen to the album before watching the film, and I was thinking, how is this song gonna be applied to the film? I want to see. I want to be proven wrong. But no, it played in the credits. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I thought the track was very well done. And I think the track actually ended up providing a different perspective to the soundtrack and the film. Just a nice breath of fresh air. This track has a very New Order influenced hook line and playful, bright, whimsical synths. This track is very light and fun due to Lucy's casual vocal delivery. I almost had to get used to the intimacy of the mixing on the vocals, but it is definitely one of the earworms of the soundtrack. However, one of the more understated tracks in the soundtrack was the Untitled piano track. This is a very dark track. It is suspenseful, drony, and ambient with a slight piano motif playing. There's these re-emerging dark synths and harsh staticky pads cycling in and out throughout the track, so it keeps your interest and definitely keeps this very even uneasiness throughout the track. The track, I understand, is minimal and calm with a slight uneasiness to it. We have a repetitious kind of questioning sounding synth throughout the track, and we also have noisy ambience that sounds like a heavy creaking door. There's also long pads ringing throughout in the background, and all of this combined really well suits the tired spoken vocals. I was kind of hoping that this track in particular was going to be used especially well in the film, just because it didn't really do much for me as a track on an album, and it ended up being used in the final credits. So this was probably the most forgettable track on the album for me. Overall, I thought it sounded nice and cohesive, but I just wish there was something done differently with the arrangement. Probably it just needed a little something to kind of keep my interest. And I think what really does it for me with the film and the soundtrack is just the aesthetic choices that were made. I thought that it allowed the two projects to complement each other very well. I really enjoyed the soundtrack, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like. If you would like to see more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel, where I will continue to be posting music and album reviews. Also, let me know in the comments what you thought about the soundtrack and what you thought about the film. I'm actually quite interested to see some different opinions, particularly about the film. And if you want to see more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, where I will continue to be posting music and album reviews, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Very minimal, but loud drums. Very minimal, loud drums, big whoa, wow. A suspenseful, I put suspenseful AF, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that like out loud. Like in a video, like unironically, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say AF unironically.